Hi everyone, welcome to the Word on Wednesday. In Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7, we read these words, "A man reaps what he sows." For the person who loves to garden like myself, warmer temperatures, sunlight which lengthens the daylight hours, means making plans to plant, plans to prepare the soil, ordering and purchasing seeds. There is something very therapeutic about playing in the dirt. Corrine, our director of youth here at Woodstock Baptist, gave me a sign a couple of years ago for my birthday which said, "Gardening is good therapy, plus you get tomatoes." Just a couple of weeks ago, I was ordering some things to plant this spring. I was on the website of my favorite seed company. I was a bit surprised to read this statement on their homepage. Important notice about your order. Due to current demand and limited resources, please realize that your seed order may take longer to ship. My first thought was, this is different. And then I thought, COVID-19 has impacted everything. My understanding is this particular seed company has been flooded with orders. Tough economic times coupled with the inability to travel. People have more time at home. It's beginning to settle in that social distancing is not going away anytime soon. And so people are thinking twice about how they're spending their time, and not only how they're spending their time, but how they're spending their money, and they're attempting to do things differently with their lives. I want you to think about your life as a barren field, nothing but brown soil, a blank canvas of sorts for you to turn into a harvest. What would happen if you simply said to the soil in your garden patch, your brown planting canvas, "I want potatoes. I'm ready to harvest potatoes." Or, "I want carrots and I'm ready to harvest carrots." Insert your favorite vegetable there. I'm quite sure, or should I say I'm certain, that you will not have anything to harvest. The harvest is dependent upon your planting. You're planting seeds in the soil. What you will harvest from the soil will depend on the seed you choose to plant. Every gardener longs for a good harvest. They long for a beautiful garden. There are two things that are of utmost importance when it comes to a good harvest. First of all, you must sow. You will not have a harvest without planting seed in the ground. And second of all, the kind of seed is important. If you want watermelon, you don't plant zucchini seeds. So what are you sowing? What kind of seed are you growing with your life? What is your life producing? In Genesis chapter 1, verse 11, it says, "And God said, let the earth spread vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, each according to its kind, on the earth. And it was so." The law of the harvest tells us that everything produces after its own kind. Everything starts as a seed. It has been said, the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without a purpose. In other words, do not waste your days, your life, living without a purpose. Plant for a beautiful harvest. Sow the kind of seed in your life which will bring a desired fruitfulness from it. Dallas Willard said this. He said, "You are a soul made by God, made for God, and made to need God, which means you were not made to be self-sufficient. There is a harvest that comes as a result of what we think about, what we say, and what we do. Our thoughts lead to action. Proverbs 23:7 says, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Matthew 12:34 says, "For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of." For the sower, for the planter who wants a specific harvest in his or her life, they must be able to recognize a harvest by looking at the seed. So knowing what is in your heart, what you think about in your life, knowing that it is going to come out in the actions of your life, it's so important that we ask, is this going to move me closer or further away from God? You see, there's a harvest in every seed. Whatever I plant is what I'm going to reap. Job chapter 4 and verse 8 says, "As I have seen, those who plow iniquity and sow trouble reap the same." People who plant trouble will harvest it. Proverbs 11:18 says, "He who sows righteousness will have a sure reward." And Hosea chapter 10 and verse 12 says, "Sow for yourselves righteousness, reap steadfast love. Plant good seeds of righteousness, and you'll harvest a crop of love." This is not a minor theme in the scriptures. It is the law of the harvest. You will reap what you sow with your family, your co-workers, your life. If you sow frustration and irritation, you will reap the harvest of those seeds. If you sow patience, love, kindness, and compassion, you will harvest the fruit of those seeds. We all reap what we sow. That is why it's so important to recognize the seeds you are sowing. You will harvest what you plant. In this time of stillness, I encourage you to reflect on the kind of seeds you are planting and to consider what kind of harvest will be reaped with your life and within your life as a result. The harvest will reflect the seed sown. A good man brings good things out of the good stored up in him, and an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in him. Every good tree bears good fruit. The only way to reap a harvest of the eternal is to be connected to God. It was C.S. Lewis who said, "All that is not eternal is eternally useless." So don't spend your time, your days, planting temporary seeds, but spend your days planting for an eternal harvest. In this time of pandemic, plant for the eternal. Just think about love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Think about 1 Thessalonians 5:16 through 18. "Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for your life in Christ Jesus." Plant for the eternal. In this time of frustration, rather than complain, demonstrate thankfulness, gratitude for those serving on the front lines of our healthcare system, all of those essential workers at your local grocery store, all of those truck drivers putting themselves at risk every day so that we are sure that we have what we need for our lives. When you are served by others, demonstrating kindness, love, patience, and thankfulness, you are planting seeds in their life that will have a tremendous impact upon their lives. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people." Everything in life is a seed. The choices we make will bring either a good harvest or a bad one, temporary or eternal. Remember, you will not grow what you do not sow.